Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for March Comes In Like a Lion, chapter 191. When we last left our heroes, the match between Rei and Nikaidou was starting to reach a fever pitch, as Nikaidou sort of took a moment to center himself and start working on a comeback, only to realize that everything he's been doing for quite a while has been sort of set up by Rei. And even if all hope seems lost for him, he's fighting on and on and on, and I love this dumb boy. He's so good. But as he fights on, Rei comes to a realization. And that's where we leave off here, or where we left off last time. So with all that said, let's dive right on into chapter 191. That oddly enough does not seem to have a title. Which is interesting to me because on the Hiwamata Noboru website that announced that they had finally published or finally translated this chapter, he described it as the climax of this arc, but there's no title here. And our picture, it's a color picture of, I believe, Akari, if I'm not mistaken. Though it's kind of hard to tell for some reason. Please never turn those eyes away. Chapter 191. So yeah, it's just sort of not really related to anything that's been going on here. We open on a flashback back to those kids shogi tournaments where Rei and Nikaidou met all those years ago. There's just so much detail going on in this 2-page spread, and there's just the thought as we kind of zoom in on their childhood match, and then we come back to the present with another 2-page spread. Of neither of them giving in. It's so bright, and I hate it so much. That's right. That's how it's always been. The reason I would never just throw in the towel is probably because you were next to me. So Nikaidou is just not, the energy of having that rival that Nikaidou sort of meditated on last chapter is continuing to push him further and further on. If I won, I'd be so happy. And if I lost, I'd feel so frustrated. And we see them again on the rooftop. We've sort of seen this image before throughout this arc. And devouring both, we moved forward. We'd alternate being the sun and the moon, as we made our way to where we are now. Thinking about it now, it really makes sense. In the end, so long as we didn't totally crumble, those matches made both of us shine. So, as much as I possibly can, even if it's just a little longer, I want this time to keep lasting. And we end that thought on the image of, at the festival, balloons being let loose into the sky over a Ferris wheel. And then we cut to the night. And this might be after the match. It might be last chapter pretty much set in stone that Nikaidou was going to lose. And maybe we don't really need to see the end of that. Because we see, who I'm assuming is Nikaidou, weakly muttering out, Hanaoka. And Hanaoka, I'm assuming, questions, huh? And we see Nikaidou, who looks haggard. In the car, I assume. Just completely beaten down, completely exhausted. Sorry, did I doze off? I had a dream about a noisy dog. Tying back into, of course, his imagery of Rei throughout the match. But we see they're driving to the hospital. That he's gotten so worked up, he's so much put in so much energy that he's just hospitalized. And Hanaoka tells him, yes, driver, please take the right-hand ramp. Around to the back, please. Okay, we're here. Yes. Oh, and Rei's in the car with him. That's not Hanaoka he was talking to, that was Rei talking to Hanaoka. As Nikaidou passed out, and Nikaidou finally recognizes him, Kiriyama? And Rei's on the phone, yes, understood, it's Dr. Morikawa, is it? And he realizes, we're here, they have a wheelchair out, I'm hanging up, I'll call you back later, yes. So he's on the phone with Hanaoka getting the doctor information that Nikaidou needs, and they've arrived, the wheelchair is out, and Rei tells him, okay, we're here, Nikaidou. They said they'd take a look at you right away. Do you think you can make it to that wheelchair? I'll support you. Yeah. Okay, let's go. This is just sweet. You know, a part of me wishes we had seen the match through to the end, but like, we got all the character work there was to get out of that match, and oh boy, was it a lot of character work. We've been dealing with the character work from this match for around a year now. And like, in the end, you know, for all their fierce shogi rivalry, what we're seeing here is that beyond that, they're friends. You know, Rei is taking care of him here. And they get him into the hospital bed, and Nikaido, you know, barely conscious, tells him, Kiriyama, it's okay, you can go home. And Rei tells him, I'll stay here just a little longer. And he's like reading over something, and Nikaido asks, what's that? A notation sheet? Yeah. Tanaka-san shoved it into my pocket when we were leaving the association building. It was really fun. And Nikaido lets out, well, sure, for you, because you won. And Rei's sort of like taken aback by that. You have a point. But he like still tries to like argue his case. It really was. And then he thinks back, oh, that reminds me. You said before you had a dream about a noisy dog? And I love this look of like frustration on Nikaido's face as he thinks back to it. Yeah, I did. It was a dream where a Jack Russell Terrier army wrecked a garden. He's still pissed off about the match. And Kiriyama has to Google what a Jack Russell Terrier is. Okay, here it is. Jack Russell Terrier. Cheerful and brimming with curiosity. And then it says, sensitive and quick-tempered, they possess an inexhaustible supply of stamina. Wow, it sounds like a pain. These little guys are cute, but they seem like a lot of trouble. And Nikaido, this arrow telling us these are his real feelings. You got that right. He's still just like, you know, even if on some level he knows that, like, accepting Rei as a happier person is, like, for the best, he's still a little frustrated about how that match went. At the Nikaido household, they're called reincarnations of wild boars. And Rei thinks, so an army of these wrecked a garden. What a weird dream. You must have been tired. Yeah, I was really out of it. Say, would you mind letting me rest? Sangatsu no Lion, next issue, number 11, on sale, May 27th, continues. Okay, so we're gonna have, what would have been, had this come out, on time, like a month and a half off, is only gonna be like 5 weeks. But yeah, this is a surprisingly anticlimactic end to what's been this like big culmination of Rei and Nikaido's dynamic over the past 190 chapters. And I don't know. I'm trying to like, I can understand the point and I see how it works. You know, I can acknowledge this is a very strong chapter. You know, it's Nikaido's sort of final comments on their rivalry. This has really been a Nikaido-focused arc. It's his sort of final comments on their rivalry, and then that all fades away. You know, once the match is over, the rivalry fades, and there's this close bond. You know, as presumably Nikaido passed out at the end of the match. And Rei is the one who sort of brings him to the hospital, the one who looks out for him in the end, because at the end of the day, these two are just good friends. And it's just some quality bonding time here. Even with the, like, snide Jack Russell Terrier comments. But, like, even acknowledging how strong all this material is. I'm still just a little bitter that we're not seeing the end of the match. I don't know. Like I said earlier, we don't need the end of the match. The chapter and the whole arc works fine without having that final moment of Rei's victory. Especially as a Nikaido arc, we're not really seeing this arc through Rei's perspective. We don't really need to see Nikaido lose. Like nothing would have been gained, I think, if we had seen that. And also, I spend all my time harping on, like, you know, the minutiae of the shogi match is not really why I'm here. But for some reason, there's just some part of me that wanted to have seen how the match would have ended up. Or, like, not how the match would have ended up, because we know how it would have ended up. You know, last chapter, we sort of learned how this all was going to end up. You know, as Harunobu acknowledges that, like, maybe his rival is too good. He's not going to give in, but he's gonna just keep on going. But I still, maybe I should have, maybe my real complaint is that I wanted to spend more time in this match, because this match has just been so good. You know, this has just been some top tier shit that, like, seeing it go, having this match, if I'm right about what I've been saying for months and even years now, that everything is sort of building towards this series ending. And this is sort of the end of, you know, the Harunobu Kiriyama rivalry being a element of focus for the rest of the series' run. Then I'm just sort of, I'm sad to see it go, because Harunobu's my boy. He's my favorite character. I think I made that perfectly clear over the past year or so. He's just the best. And this does sort of feel like the climax of their entire character arc. This feels like that sort of acknowledgement of what they've done for each other, the way they both push each other up for higher and higher. And it's good. It's really fucking good. And I really am just in the end sad to see that if this is the end of their dynamic being the focus, I'm sad to see it leave. You know, it was one hell of a run. After Nikaidou was sort of like delegated to a background character at some point. Like, he had his one match with Soya Meijin, and then I don't think he really did much for a good long while until this arc. Like, he had his match with the other disciple, Shigeta, I think, Shimada's other disciple. But that was just build up for this. And, like, it's been fun having him be our focus character again, because he's great. Nikaidou is great. And the only complaints I have for this chapter is that I'm just sad for that to end. But this chapter really was really good. A really good finale. A great capstone to this whole match, to their dynamic. If this is the end of Nikaidou being a sort of a character whose relationship with Rei we focus on, you know, if he goes back to being a lot more recurring after this match, what a way to go. You know, this is sort of just a great little chapter, both in how it wraps up Nikaido's feelings for Rei, and also just how it shows the strength of their bond. Like, Rei stays with him as he's, you know, in the hospital. He's the one who takes care of him here. It's just good all around, and I love it. And I don't know where we're going next. You know, the thing about the end of an arc is that we're now at a point where really anything can happen. We know the, like, Rei Shimada match is coming up in the near future, but there could be plenty of things that happen before then. So we're really in this position of, like, what is going to happen next? The only way to find out is to wait a month. So with that said, I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you'll enjoy the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, you know, do whatever makes you happy, you know? And as always, your life is your own, okay? Bye!